Hello gamers all over the world and welcome to Video Game Bros. My name is Daniel aka Jack Nakiri, and today I'm bringing you a Black Dashes Online video, and it's gonna be a guide to how you can build your own fishing boat in this game. I recommend you to make your own fishing boat. It's a great way to get into the game and to learn some of the complex systems that it's in the game. For example, the node system and the worker system, which are quite hard to grasp in the beginning. Also, it will allow you to level up some of those important life skills such as gathering and processing. Also cooking, because your workers gonna need a lot of beer to wanna work. Alright, so I just finished gathering all the materials I need for my boat, so I'm gonna go through them all and show you how I gather them, process them, and then we're gonna cut back here and I'm gonna start crafting the boat. So there will be some materials we're gonna gather ourselves and some that we'll order our workers to get for us. And how you balance this and what materials you want to gather on your own and what materials you want to get your workers to get, it's totally up to you, but I'm gonna tell you how I did it for each material required. Let's get going. Alright, so we are currently in Velia, where we are gonna have our base of operations for about the first half during the gathering process. And the first material we're going to get or look at is the bronze ingot, which is a big part of the ship. And yes, in real life, bronze is made up of is an alloy made of tin and copper. And we're gonna start by looking at the copper. And around, we're gonna let our workers deal with the copper. And around Velia, there are 4 nodes which has copper for your workers to mine. It's the coastal cave, which has 1 node. The goblin cave has 1 node, and the imp cave, which has 2 nodes. So that's a very good node. To get to the imp cave, you need to invest in Loggia farm as well, which is good because it has potatoes which you can use to make beer for your workers. So let's go out here and grab coastal cave so we can get some work done. Alright, so we ran over to the coastal cave node manager. So we're gonna talk to him and select node management. And this will let us invest in this particular node. So we'll do that by spending 1 contribution point. And then to start mining, we actually need to select the copper node itself and invest in that as well. Now you can see we can start to mine some copper ore. So you see this worker is in this town, so I can select him, select the number of times that I want to repeat the process of mining copper. So he has 16 stamina at the moment, so I could possibly put 16 here, but I don't. I already have gathered all my copper, so I won't do it. But you just hit start work when you select an amount of times, and you can see here the time it takes for 1 repetition that will bring in a number of copper ores, and this is dependent on your worker. You see different workers have different times. These guys are in another town, so it will take a while for them to walk here. But there are 3 types of workers. There are goblins, humans, and giants. This is a giant. He's, as you can see, he's quite slow, and but he has a large stamina pool, so he can do lots of things before you need to give him more beer. And to regain the stamina as well. This is quite lucky, and so he's slow and a good worker. There's the goblin that's fast, but slightly sloppier, and this human is like the middle ground. You can get whatever. There's white, green, blue, and yellow grade. It's naive, normal, skilled, and professional, and they're better as the higher the grade. So get started working. Alright, so this is one node. I suggest investing in this node, which has the 2 copper and the imp cave. That should be fine. You can also get this node, which is connected to Heidel, which could be good because you get a free worker here. The first worker you can get for free, and after that you need to get lodging, and you can get that by selecting a house which has lodging, and select lodging, which will get you the possibility to hire another worker in this town. You do this at the work manager here with the pickaxe symbol. Alright, let's get back to town and see what we're gonna do with all this copper. Alright, so we're back in Velia, and our workers has collected some copper, which and the collected copper you can get from your storage. And we have some copper here. Before we can combine it with the tin to make bronze, we need to process it, and we need to convert it to more refined material, that is melted copper shard. So to do this, you can right click it or just click produce here. Select heating, because we want to melt the copper, and then just input the copper and hit start. 5 copper ores will produce 1 or 2 metal copper shards, depending on your processing level. So I got 1. If you're lucky, you get 2. This means that the process can be more or less painful. So in worst case, we're gonna need 125 total copper, melted copper shards, which means, well, worst case scenario, you're gonna have like something like 625 copper ores. So it's quite a lot. But your workers, if you have all the 5 nodes, the copper nodes we talked about, you're gonna have it in a day or so. If you keep your workers' stamina up, it's going to be done in a good time. All right, so the copper, we wait with the bronze till we have the rest of the materials. We're gonna move on to the next material, which is, let me check my notes. Yes, the usable Scantling. This material is made from the raw material logs. Right, so we're gonna get some logs. And how do you get logs? Well, you chop down trees. So you need an axe, which you can get from the material trader, something like that. I think you can search it. Material here. If you click this, it will guide you to the vendor, or you can buy it from the marketplace. Well, when you have axe, you go and you chop down any tree. See, this is an ash tree. It will work just fine to get logs. Preferably, if you walk past the birch tree, they are also especially good, because we're gonna need birch later. But just chop down any tree to get the usable Scantling, because we're gonna need to get our gathering level up as well. Alright, so we get some logs. Let's keep chopping down some trees here, so I'm gonna show you. Because we need to make these logs into usable Scantling. Similar to how... Nope, not this tree. Let me queue up another gathering. Similar to how we did the melted copper, we need to process the logs into usable scantling. Alright, so let's see here. We got our some logs. We do the same thing, but this time we select shopping or shop. Which see here, I have done it before. I have learned usable scantling. So just input the logs and hit start. So let's see here. The result of this process is the usable scantling. If I'm not mistaken. Come on. Alright, so when you process 10 logs, you can get 1 to 2 usable scantling. So this means that we are gonna need 25 usable scantling. So worst case, if you just are unlucky and get 1 each time, you're gonna need 250 logs. But usually a little bit less than that. Alright, so that's it for logs. Alright, so for the next material we're gonna look at it's the black stone powder. And the raw material for making black stone powder is rough stone, which you can get from mining any rock with a pickaxe. So equip your pickaxe and head up to a rock. This is a feldspar, if I pronounce it correctly. So just start gathering from it. The black stone powder is slightly different from the previous materials we've been looking at in how we process it. So you see here I got the rough stone. You can get it from any rock that is you see you can gather from, but the tip is to grab them from granite, because they also have a chance to have copper in it, which we need for the boat, or for the bronze in the boat as well. So we're gonna need 30 black stone powder, and each black stone powder requires 2 rough stones. So that's 60 rough stones. And we're not gonna process this ourselves. I don't. Maybe you can, but we will put this in our storage in town. So I have some rough stones in the storage here in Villa. And what we need here is to find a house that can be used as a refinery. For example, 5-1 here in Villa. Refinery. This is where you make the blackstone powder. So if you get this, it takes 5 minutes to build, but it's you can spend some contribution points on it, or 1. Wait 5 minutes and you're ready to go. So I'm gonna fast forward here. Alright, so we got our refinery. So we are ready to create our blackstone powder. We're going to hit manage crafting here in the refinery, and we're gonna let our workers craft the blackstone powder for us. You select your worker from the list, and it takes 2 rough stones per each 1 blackstone. As I said, we're gonna need 60 rough stone to make 30 blackstone powder. And you select the number of times you want your worker to repeat it. So you're gonna have to do it 30 times over. And then you just hit start work, and they will start running over here to the refinery and start crafting blackstone powder. Yep. Alright, so that's copper, usable scantling, and blackstone powder. So when you have about when you have your 125 melted copper shards, or around 600 550 to 600 copper ore, as well as your 25 usable scantling and your 30 blackstone powder, that's when we're done with Velia. Alright, so what I did was I spent my contribution points to get the nodes here with the copper nodes, as well as, you know, buying storage and lodging for my workers, and And this was a while ago, so I didn't have this many contribution points. If you have lots of contribution points, you don't need to move everything, but that's what I did. I basically just shut down my whole production here. I retracted all the nodes and sold my my buildings to get my contribution points back. You can do this by selecting the node and then hit contribution withdrawal, and you get your contribution point back, no problem. So if you are new to the game, you can fiddle around with, you know, grabbing nodes and testing like different things out. You can always get your contribution points back. So you can never waste contribution points. So that's a good thing. So I got all my contribution points back from Velia, and then it was time to head to Calfion. This is the large capital of this of Black Desert Online, and this is around this area is where we're going to get the last materials we need for our fishing boat. So let's ride here, and I will fast forward to that. All right, so when we are in Calfion, we are going to start to gathering the birch or birch logs, and this will be one of the major components of the fishing boat. We're going to need about 1,800 or less, depending on luck and your processing level. But you can get birch from 3 different nodes around Calfion. You get the Quint Hill with 1 node, so birch timber. You get the Bree Tree Ruins and the old this node. Alright, so I put all these 3, and I constantly produce the birch timber from my workers there. This is like one of the biggest tasks for the boat making part. Okay, so when your workers have started to bring back some birch timber, you can start to process it. And this processing is done in 2 stages. First, we need to convert the timber to planks, and then the planks to the plywood. Right? So for the boat, we're going to need 50 birch plywood. And for making 1 birch plywood, we're going to need 10 birch planks. Following? That means we're going to need about 500 birch planks. And if we process timber, I will show you here. Oops, wrong button. By chopping the timber, we produce planks, and 5 timber becomes one or 2 planks. In this case, 2. This depends on your processing level. So, yeah, this time it was 1. Okay, so let's stop this for a moment. Yes, you will need 500 of these planks, and so that will be, what is it, like, yeah, so worst case you're going to have to get 2,500 timber, but you quite often get 2, so it will maybe it will end up in like 2,000 or 1,800, something like that. Anyhow, it's a lot of timber that we're gonna need to collect. That's why we want to get our workers working on the birch farms, or yeah, as fast as possible. Alright, so while they are gathering birch, we are going to collect the next material on the list, that is pine sap. This is one of the more simple ingredients to gather. The birch sap, to get it, you're gonna need a or a fluid collector. It sounds quite nasty. Sounds like a tool that like a plague doctors would use. I don't know. Anyhow, you equip the fluid collector and you walk up to a pine. They have this kind of very straight appearance. So just walk up to it and gather the fluids from it. And very nice sound effects on this one. So we're going to need 30 pine saps. And the glorious thing about pine sap is you gather it from the trees like this and you're done. So you need to do this 30 times approximately till you have 30 pine sap. Then that's it. Alright, so the last raw material we're going to need to gather is tin for the bronze. Alright, so we're going to need the same amount of tin as we need copper. So it's 125 melted. And the same way you're going to process the ore of the tin ore to melted tin shards. Right, so equip your pickaxe and you're going to start chopping up stones. So I found the diorite that is scattered like everywhere around Caltheon. It has tin as well as lead, so you're going to have lots of spare lead after you gather all your tin. Maybe there's a better like stone to get tin from, but I find diorite to be very good for this. You just run around the area around Caltheon and chop up every stone you can like this. You could also get your workers to mine it. I think there is 1 or 2 tin nodes somewhere south of Caltheon. I'm not 100% sure. You need to look that up if you want your workers to get tin, and you can yourself get the birch or let your workers do everything. That's totally up to you. I gathered the tin myself. It was quite a process and it required lots of energy, but it was worth it. So the same way when you get your 600 something tin ore, you heat it up just like we did with the copper, like this, but I don't have enough. And it's the same ratios as well, I believe. So let's see here, tin. Yeah, so 5 tin ore becomes 1 or 2 maybe melted tin shards. Okay, so when we have all the birch planks and all the melted metals, we can start refining the last step of the materials. So let's start off with the birch. Right, so to make the birch plywood, you're going to need wood workbench that you can find in some houses in different towns. I chose this one because it was good enough. So a wood workbench, managed crafting, and you can see here you have birch plywood. So here, birch plank. 10 of them makes 1 birch plywood. You can select here. You can create 5 at a time. Takes more time, but your worker just has to go less times. So that's good. So we need again 50 birch plywoods. So you're gonna need 500 birch planks. And it's the same process as with the blackstone powder we did earlier. You select your worker and the amount of times, then you hit start working. You can see here. Alright, so set the times and start working, and the worker will start processing the planks into plywood. Same kind of deal with the bronze. You need a mineral workbench this time, which is same deal. You can find it in a house in several towns, and you scroll down and you find your ingot here, bronze. That's what we want. So you can see here, crafting materials, melted copper shard, melted tin shard, 5 of each to make 1 ingot of bronze. So again, we're gonna need 125 of these, 125 of these, and we're going to make 25 bronze ingots for our boat. And when you finally let's see, when you finally have all the materials, process them, and I will put a list like next to here so you can check off that you have all the materials in the right amounts. You need to move them to Etheria port. Okay, so this is the town over here. You need to move the materials to the storage here. So you get all the stuff that's in the list of materials and you put them in the storage. That's when you can start crafting the boat. So that's the next step. Right guys, we're back here in Etheria port. We are ready to craft our boat. We got all the materials required. So what you want to do here when you get your mats is to go to the map by hitting M and go to Etheria port. You're gonna need to get this house with a shipyard in it, and to get it you need to unlock this entire row of houses. So you see I've already unlocked them, all these 5, before you can get the shipyard. When you have the shipyard you gotta level it up to 2 to unlock the fishing boat in the crafting menu. I already started a little bit, but what you need to do here is to get your workers to process the material and that you collected into the... So it's quite a long craft process, but it's quite simple, and if you get many workers you can have them work simultaneously to get products finished. So you see here I've already crafted 5 of each of these materials, and I hired another worker here to show you. So you select the material and see here it says 0 out of 30. So each individual material needs to be processed. So one material is a one-time task for your worker. So it will take a lot of stamina and a lot of beer to finish all these materials. But as I said, if you have many workers you can do it faster. So let's get this guy started on the pine sap. So I'm gonna max out. The drawback with the goblins is that they have very low stamina, but he's gonna get at least 8 stuff done at a time. So you can select 8 times, and this means one material is gonna take 20 minutes. So all these 8 are gonna take like what is it, 2 hours 40 minutes. So you can start your workers working and then you can go and like make dinner or something, or go grind the game. That's even better. And they're gonna work while you're doing something fun. So we got him started here, and we got 4 workers currently working on different materials. You can, I think, have 2 workers work on the same kind of materials. If you just want to speed up one material at a time. Okay, I'm gonna cut back when all the materials are finished crafting. See ya then. Alright, so our workers have finally finished off crafting the boat. It's been about a day semi-actively resuming their tasks, and a fishing license has appeared in our storage. So let's go collect it. So with the ferry license, the ship license, we need to go to the ferry manager NPC, and we're going to register it similarly to how we would do it with the mount, a horse or a wagon or something like that. So we're going to hit register ship. We're going to give it a name. Right, so we got our ship and we're gonna take it out for a maiden voyage. Alright, there she is. Exciting. Alright, so we made it in. Let's go! Yeehaw! Finally we finished the project. It's been amazing. I hope you enjoyed this guide, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment down below the video, and if you liked it, hit the subscribe button, and let's just enjoy the sea breeze on the open waters.